Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Leon Fulford here, and I was going to show you guys here real quick. Um, I'm going to show you guys here real quick what I'm doing with this project I was talking about in my last video. I want to build a 4-gang, 8-outlet extension cord box for like a construction site where you can plug in. You have 8 different things you can plug in to this box all at once, but please be in mind, do not use all 8 items running all at once, like a shop vac or another sweeper or sawzall, sawzall, skill saw, um, a jigsaw is another one you could, they would use at a construction site. I've just been sitting in my chair, so taking breaks off and on in between this project. It's kind of frustrating. I thought about running all this in parallel so that we could easily find which one of these outlets that might be bad whenever it burns up in the future. Right here I've got my field piece multimeter. This runs up to 600 volts, tests up to 600 volts AC and 200 volts DC. It has a temperature probe on it as well as an ohm probe on it, and checking for amps. They got an amp probe on it. Alright, we're going to show here that this should show we've got kind of hard to hold the camera at the same time, but if we put it right here, this should that didn't work either. I'm gonna hold the camera to where we can actually see where our voltage is, and I'm gonna stick this right down in the center there. We've got 0, 0. But if I stick this down in here, we've got 120, yeah, 122.4. So therefore, if I go down here, same thing. It means this is all running in series. So, and this, don't ever do this. Don't ever stick to hot to hot. It'll blow. You'll be in bad shape. Same thing here. All of them are working properly. I assume so. I have to assume that all of them are hot. Alright. Now, this is just an unfinished project, so alright. There we go. There it is. This piece right here, I just have to finishing probably putting a cover over it or something so little kids can't stick their hands in there and get shocked pretty bad. But I just have to do a few finishing touches and it should be ready to go. By the way, I tried to use some wire nuts, but things didn't go so well with the wire nuts. These are for 14 gauge wire. For 14 gauge wire, this is your typical lighting type wire. Like these you would use for if you're doing pigtail for a light, to run the light in parallel. That's one good thing to do. Is it is best to avoid in lighting. It's best to avoid running in series, because then what you have is you got a burnout light, and the other lights are burnt out too. Because in reality, the other lights are not burnt out. It's your first light that's burnt out. Basically, the schematic here. Take a look at our schematic again, and see. I drew the schematic, and this is pretty much what you're going to get. This is the resemblance to the schematic I drew. Let's look at side by side. See? Voila. And even real close, if you look real close down here, guys, you can kind of see that one's running off the other one to the other one. It's like he's slapping the other guy, and the other guy's slapping the other guy, and it's all connected. But I wanted to show that to people that, you know, really are interested in something creative. These are typical electrician tools. We've got a pair of snippers and strippers and dikes. These are dikes right here. Pair of your typical cheap dikes. These are for pulling wire through a hole, or you can use them as a cutter. You can use them as a pair of pliers. Side cuts. Side cuts are used for many different things. Pretty cool stuff. I use them for cutting wire. Sometimes cutting a piece of metal if it's in the way. If it's small enough, you can use that. And got some duct tape right there. I thought I might use some duct tape for this project, but I was just kind of like, well, you know, I probably won't need it. And some tools, pretty good tools here. We've got our Black & Decker, which is a generic to DeWalt. Alright. Some pretty cool stuff. And there we go. I think that'll be it.